change won't be televised. Y'all running out of time. Pay attention to the signs. True revolution takes place within your mind. By renewing it, rising from the flesh to the vine. This evolution, the change won't be televised. Y'all running out of time. Pay attention to the signs. Hey, what it do? I'm just
the flesh and the spirit has the ability to transcend your mind and your heart, your emotion. That's who we are as an individual. That's who we are. When we die here on earth, it's your flesh that dies. It's the physical body that it's done. It's no more. It's temporal or temporary. It's not permanent. It's not immortal. It will not live forever. It wasn't made that way. Well, technically it was, but we won't go back to the Garden of Eden. You got to get deep with it.
Yeah.
That's kind of changed. We man morphed that with the help of that serpent. The spirit lives forever. Mm-hmm. That is the immortal part of us. And then the soul is the part that's going to be judged. Mm-hmm. Because the soul is the part that's made decisions in this life that have hurt others or helped others. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to be judged on Judgment Day.
Yeah.
What did you think? How did you feel? And in response to your thinking and your feeling, how did you treat others? That's judgment. That's what you're going to be judged on when you hear ministers, preachers, pastors, bishops, whatever you want to call them, talk about Judgment Day. That's how I break it down to people. You've got to feed your physical body to live. Food, water, vitamins, minerals, we got to have it. You also have to feed your soul. Yeah. That's how we judge the content of your character.
And that's, in essence, right? Because I said that sometimes we don't realize that we, and I've seen it, where we're using things, right? We're using things as the catalyst to how we humanize, or even if we humanize one another.
Right.
And if you take it spiritually, Matthew 6:33. Now watch this. This is where we mess up at. Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek ye first the kingdom." Mm-hmm. And as you seek first the kingdom, all these things will be added unto you. But can I really tell you what it is that we really do? We seek the things, mm-hmm. and we don't seek kingdom. The reason why you need to seek kingdom is because in kingdom is where your purpose and your destiny lies. Oh, I know I'm preaching. I just had to say that one more time so that y'all can understand that we've reversed it. We've changed it. We've been seeking the things, and so now, if you don't have Jordans, I'm a bully you. I'm gonna tell you, what are those? You don't have the LeBrons. You don't have the Stephs. You don't have the Currys. You don't have the Rolls Royce. You don't have the Lambo. You don't have the
serpent is still deceiving us.
You don't have these. You don't have these things. So we're seeking the things, right? And we haven't sought kingdom. And so when you don't see kingdom, you're really neglecting, like you said before, the gifts. If you do what you do, naturally there is provision, because that is something that I also speak when I in the We Take Care of Us movement is that there is purpose, right? There's purpose. Everybody has purpose. And each mm-hmm. of us have something that is uniquely different. That's why the scripture says that we were uniquely and wonderfully made in the image and likeness of God. I know it sounds like I'm preaching, but we just got to keep it real. So uniquely in all of us. That's why I say, like, the reason why I cringe so much is because people always say, look at these predators, right? Look at these heathens, right? Not realizing that when you say, look at these predators, right? You're not even understanding what you're speaking into existence. You got two realms, the angelic realm and the demonic realm. And each of those realms are real. So when you speak death, what do you think is going to happen? That is what you're speaking into existence. Sometimes parents, they say they're not even paying attention to what they're actually speaking, right? They don't. One of the things that I learned in one of the communication classes, right? And I know it sounds a little bit different because we don't take time to process to our youth when they're telling a lie. But what we say, you liar. No, what you need to do is say, what you're doing is stating, you tell them what they do. You're lying about the situation. But you never want to label, because what you're doing is now you're speaking that to come into existence. That's why they say life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I know some may disagree with that notion, but that was a different perspective.
Right. There is power in the word. We were created. I said I wasn't going to go back to Genesis, but you keep dragging me back to Genesis.
It just happened to be that way.
When you open up Genesis and you read it, God created everything except man by the word. He said, let there be light.
Yeah.
Let there be. Let there be. Let there be. He formed and shaped man from the dirt, the clay of the earth. There is power in the word. There is power in our words. We were made in his image. And if he can say it, and it is so, why can't you? If you are spiritually in touch with your creator, you can act and do as he does. My daughter always says, why is he? I don't know. Instinctively says he. And I'm cool with that. I don't care. Right. He, whatever the creator does, he put that power in me. And I can do it too. I can do it too. Mm-hmm. The serpent, the devil, comes in and he twists everything. Yeah. That's how he tricked Eve and Adam. Okay? In the garden. He twisted God's words. What did he say? Did he really say you shouldn't eat?
That's what he said.
Read the word. Let's go back to Genesis. I said I wasn't going to go there, but we there. So let's just deal with it. What did he say?
Yeah.
Because guess what? God created him too. Somewhere he got it twisted. We can't find, you're not going to find that in Genesis. I think it's, which one of the prophets is it? Isaiah?
I drew a blank, but I know.
It's one of the prophets that tells you how Satan fell.
Yeah.
Because he got it twisted. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. Remember that. And when you talk about wickedness, you got to understand the origin of words. Wickedness, a wicker basket. You got a couple of them in here.
Yeah.
They're not evil. Wicker is just a twisting of a material to make something now decorative. But Satan twisted God's words to make something wicked. And he continues to do that to us today. Yeah. And I know y'all probably sitting there going, how did we get on this religious conversation? But it's about, when you talk about accountability, I cannot hold you accountable for what you don't know. And I need you to understand that things have been twisted and become wicked, and it has become normalized, because I think I heard you use that word, normalized. And so we think this stuff is okay because we are out of touch spiritually with our Creator. We're not taking care of our souls. So we got a lot of mental health issues that need to be addressed. It's normalized. It's okay now. And physically, yes, we are becoming very sick people because it's become very twisted, very wicked, because we've allowed this principality from on high to deceive us, to con us, bamboozle us, hoodwink us into thinking and believing that we're fighting each other, and we're not.
Can I get you to come preach on Sunday?
I ain't never tell nobody I was a preacher, but I can drop some word if you want.
but what you're and you know, and she just hit it on a point. When you become educated or informed, that should cause you to operate and do better, right?
Absolutely. As
So,
we know better, we do better.
You know, and so that's the reality that we have to begin to start matriculate, because, you know, I do. I take it very, very offensive when I see, you know, that sometimes we're not careful and judicious about our words that we use. You know, we call those that are unhoused, homeless, bums.
You're not bums.
You know, or lazy. I think it was 1 year before when Paul Ryan was the Speaker of the House, and it was a statement that he made. He said, anyone that is that's receiving public assistance, they're lazy, all lazy. Well, little did he realize there was a lady who have to find it, because I actually shared the video in the We Take Care of Us movement group. And the lady was like, yo, this is not, I don't know what you're talking about, because this is not the case. We might have some or individuals, right? Because there's always how they always say, there's an opposite to
you just can't generalize.
You just can't, generalize, because what you do is you throw a hole, and you can't do that. That's why I tell people all the time, somebody was saying the other day, where there's no black men in the community. Well, just because you're following mainstream media, you can't say that they're, this is why we're talking about what we're talking about, the labeling theory, the name calling, to generalize, to say, oh, black men ain't nothing, or all black men are locked up and they don't care about the community, they're not taking care of responsibility.
That ain't true. I live with two black men. You can't generalize.
We're on this topic, ladies and gentlemen, because when you start thinking about the conditions, right, you think about the mental condition, the spiritual condition, the physical condition. We've been talking about community, we've been talking about village, we've been talking about accountability. These are all entities that make up the means of the condition, the culture, the climate of our communities. Y'all know I always say all the time, accountability, there's no color, it's no creed, it's no financial status, it's not. Accountability is for all. It don't matter if you're Democrat, don't matter if you're Republican, if you're Libertarian, Independent, or whatever it is, your race, your nationality, your social economic status, or whatever the powers to be. Accountability is for all of us. You know what I'm saying? And we have got to start examining and start looking at these things, because we were speaking certain things into existence and not even really paying attention. You ever notice how, like, sometimes we have even said, speaking of the devil, look who shows up, right? And we say that we don't necessarily always mean harm.
Right.
We just,
they're cliches that have been around forever,
that have been around, that we have taken, right? But we're saying all this to say, because, like I said, we're hearing certain things. I'm hearing young men talk about, things that were said. I did a video, I don't want to say it was courage, but I believe it was courage. And I played as if there's a vision, there's a voice of being told. I did it on myself, where I'm having like a little anxiety fit. And in the midst of me having that little anxiety, there's this voice that talks about is saying, you're nothing but a failure. You're a failure, right? We're not paying attention that, because we say, oh, you're gonna be dumb like your father, or you be dumb like your mother, or you gotta understand that some of the things, right, we talk about emotional intelligence. We talk about mental intelligence.
You're feeding into, or you're feeding someone's soul something that may not, in many instances, is not true. However, the problem is we do it to those of us at a time when we're technically blank slates, if you will. You talk about children and what we call or what we say to our children. Let's go back to that example. As a mother who raised, still raising children, children are not taught to lie. I'm going to teach you that one before you become a father.
Okay.
You don't have to teach a child to lie. If you just take a minute, a couple times a week, and look at America's Funniest Home Videos and watch those videos, but with a different perspective. Many of those videos are young children. And we laugh at it as being cute. But when you think about it, one I saw the other night. A little boy, couldn't have been no more than 3-4 years old, got a donut. After mom said, don't touch the donut. Donut, true, obviously been eaten. Had a piece bitten out of it. And mom says, how'd you get the donut? Mom didn't get the donut. Well, okay, who ate the donut? The young boy on video says, a monster came in and made me eat it. Now, come on now. That's straight up an untruth. It's not true. It was just a flat out lie.
Right.
In his conscience, he knew if I tell mama the truth, there's trouble to come. So to avoid the trouble, I'm just going to tell her an untruth. And it's an outrageous untruth, but he's too young to understand that it's so outrageous, we would never believe it. As adults, we laughed at it. We thought it's cute. It's on TV competing for money. It's so cute. Let's just keep it real, okay? I laughed at it, but I said, we don't teach our children to lie. We don't have to. I know this. I'm raising children.
Right.
I've had my 2-year-olds, because I got 2 of them came out of my womb, look me in the face and tell me what I know is a lie. No laughter, straight face. They expect me to believe it. And as a mom, I don't chastise them for that. All I could do was laugh at them because I recognize they're young. They don't know any better. Right. And that's when I began to teach my children immediately. The first time they start to lie to me, don't lie to me. I'll punish you for lying to me more so than I will punish you for the bad thing you've done. Because if I can't believe the words that are coming out of your mouth, we got no basis for a relationship. You destroy the trust that we have. You destroy the trust, the bond wears away. The relationship is gone. So I began instantly, the minute my children began to talk, and they knew not to tell me the truth. Don't lie to your mama. But that was because I was of a frame of mind. I was at a place in my own soul where I got it. I get it. I know better. I got to do better. So no, I'm not going to react in anger and look at my child and say, you liar. No. Wait a minute, baby, stop. You cute, no. But no, that don't work. Let's not do that. Tell mommy the truth. If you tell me the truth, I'm going to punish you for the truth. We'll talk about why what you did was wrong, but I'm not going to beat you because you told me an untruth.
And that, and as you're talking about that, it goes back to.
Oh, you told me I'm not gonna beat you for telling me the truth. Let me correct that. It came out wrong.
The communication process, right? And I know we're talking about this stuff because if we don't talk about it from this level,
that age, they become bigger and bigger and bigger, and now they 40, 50-year-old people. Still telling untruths. Yeah. And people are relying upon those untruths. Yeah. Believing those untruths. Yeah. Basing decisions in their lives on those untruths. Yeah.
And then and the video I did was basically showing, because basically pretty much it was kind of showing like struggling in school, struggling in college, right? And so because I was having a hard time with keeping up with grades and whatnot, that voice, right? That voice from being told little, you're a failure. You was born late. You was born late. You've been nothing but a disgrace. You're a failure, right? And so we're not understanding the engineering process, right? That's why I always say on this platform, mental health is wealth, right?
Yes.
Because we have got to retrain the mind. That's why even in the word it says,
and correct, retrain the mind. But I don't want us to mistakenly because the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want us to mistakenly say change how we talk to people, change what we say, because we don't want to destroy somebody's soul.
Right. We want corrective behavior.
Exactly. And it's not always what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah, I in communications class they taught us. They said there was 3 different ways you can say I love green eggs in ham. You can say it from a mad. You can say it from a sarcastic perspective, and you can say it from a place of excitement.
Exactly.
But all 3 of those words are, I love green eggs and ham.
Exactly.
Right. Same sentence, but it's how
you say it.
How you say it.
I would not say don't say liar to a child. Ask the question, do you want to grow up to be a liar? I didn't call you a liar. I asked you, do you intend to become a liar in your adult years? I asked you that question to ignite thought in your soul. If I just look at you and say, you're a liar, you're always a liar, that's different. That's harsh. Now, yes, I am embedding that thought in your soul and calling that out over you. And it takes a strong person not to fall into that train of thought and belief about yourself. Yeah. So using the word doesn't necessarily mean I'm calling that on you. It's how I use that word in your presence. If I look at you and say, you ain't gonna be no good just like your daddy ain't no good. Okay, now I'm destroying you. I'm killing you before you ever have a chance to get started, because as a young man, when you look in the mirror and you look at that picture of your father, or you look at your father, you're gonna see your father. You can't help but see. That's the way DNA and reproduction works. We are remaking ourselves. And so if I, as your mother, constantly say to you, you ain't no good like your daddy. Yeah. Well, mama didn't think my daddy was any good. Mama gave life to me. I look like my daddy. So how is it that mama thinks I'm any good? And then mothers want to know why their sons don't want to listen to them. Well, there you have it. And I talk to mothers about that type of conversation, not just with their sons, even with your daughters. I talk to mothers about those types of conversations over our children all the time. All the time. Because yes, those are the conversations that kill. Those are the words that kill. Because every child grows up idolizing daddy. Even daddies that aren't there. Even daddies that we know are drug addicts, gangbangers, thugs, in jail, I still idolize that man. It's indoctrinated in us. It's in our DNA. It's in our nature. We just do. We love, revere, and respect mama, but we idolize daddy until we get to that age of understanding and discernment, and we look at daddy and go, you ain't worth the 2 cents in my pocket. And everything changes at that moment, but that moment doesn't happen for several years. Generally, for most people, it's between the age of 13 and 21. That's a long period of time. We give daddy chance after chance after chance after chance because he's our creator. He was made in the image of our Creator first. So it's just natural. So when I come out of the womb and all I hear from you is, you ain't no better than your daddy. And your daddy ain't no good. I am, yes, going to internalize that I am no good because that's who I came from. That is dangerous. So I strongly advise parents, you don't do that. You don't even talk about a mother in that way. So, sisters, not that I'm trying to dog y'all out, but I'm a sister. I know what we do. Let's just keep it real. Men handle things slightly differently, unless there's some anger there towards mom that they've not gotten over yet. So yes, it does happen in the reverse. Men do it to their daughters as well. So we have to be careful both ways. We have to be careful both ways because we have children and parents are the first teacher. You can't get away from that. We don't give life and immediately put a day-old baby in school.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for, just coming out. Y'all got a grand slam treat today.
Yeah.
These conversations have to be had, ladies and gentlemen. These are not conversations to be negative or point finding, right? We are just bringing these because, like you shared, you speak with the mothers, right? I'm hearing, I mentor the young men, right? And, just trying to get to the root of certain things that we're hearing and seeing, some of the behaviors that's matriculating and what we're seeing in the community at large, as a whole, right? And one of the things is that, it goes back to the C, the competency, the children, you know what I'm saying? The community. The community, right? Because often, we kind of be sitting back looking like, why the children behave, right? Why they bad? Okay, well, we kind of gotta,
well, I don't ask that question.
We kind of gotta, we have a part to play in that.
Yes, we do.
Good, bad, ugly, or
indifferent. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just about making sure that we stay on the right track. And it's okay. Because I'm a part of groups. I'm a part of groups because I didn't have a father figure. I'm not afraid to say that I didn't have a father figure. Probably didn't get more so of a father figure probably to when I got close, maybe like mid late 20s, right? I'm in my 30s now, right? But I have been in spaces to be able to see. And we had to have these conversations, y'all. Let's just, it's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I don't know this. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm not as educated. I'm not, this is an area where I'm not strong in. I'm a little bit weak in this area. Can you help? Because we're learning, we're growing, I know some people don't like the term evolving, but unfortunately,
it is. It's growth and maturity. Yes, thoughts I had at 25, I don't have at 50. Because I've been through 25 years more of experience and life lessons. And so, yes, things evolve. Things change. And it's not a drastic change.
Right.
The problem we have is we want to see things in black and white. And we can't. The world is full of shades of gray.
Yeah.
When we get into the land of always and never, all or none, that's a problem because we're human and we cannot meet those extreme expectations. We can't. Things happen to interfere with your daily path of living. And as long as we keep holding people to these extremes that are not realistic, we're always going to be broken. And that's why we have to be able to forgive and extend grace and understand that they're not always excuses. Sometimes they're very valid reasons for why things happen the way they happen.
Yeah.
And when you start accepting that there are valid excuses, valid reasons, now you're talking shades of gray. Because what may be a BS excuse for you may actually be a valid reason for me.
Yeah.
So there's shades of gray.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate this, man. This is enlightening. It's encouraging. It's enriching. Because that's what just makes this platform so real. Where we have a space to be able to, and that's the number key. The key thing to. I spoke about this on Sunday, right? And after I'll say this, and we'll close out. But there was so much hype about so much that was being said about whether or not where you are in the spiritual community, the Christian community, and whatnot. When you see singers or celebrities or whatnot just do certain things or behave certain things and whatnot. And I talked about being sober. I'll send you the link on it. And I said, the beautiful thing about, shout out to King Kali, because he talks about the importance of his sobriety and the things that he did to be on the path, on the track of where he's at today. He actually, talked about the support team that helped him get on the right track, right? But I talked about on Sunday, I said that there's so much heightness to condemn as opposed to praying and being the example and leading individuals. And I used the fact of being sober, where I said those who are in the Alcohol Anonymous or the Drug Anonymous, they don't have that team that condemns them.
Right.
They have that team that says, hold up, that strategically, shows them, say, hey, brother, sister, you might not want to be in this environment.
Right.
They call them sponsors.
Correct.
They don't be down their throat like, told you was going to do that. You the scum. And blah, 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 blah. No, because that's not what they're there for.
Right.
They're not there. And I used the example how Jesus brought the lady before and he didn't condemn her.
Right.
He could have, right? He could have. You know what I'm saying? I always challenge people that I'm like, why were y'all there present? If you saying what this lady did, what she did, why was y'all even there while she was doing it? If this is the case,
right.
I just kind of challenge that. But needless to say that, as we're talking about accountability and being village and whatnot, we've all got to become a team player to help enrichen, to enlighten, to inform, to empower, because that's what we're all talking about here. That's what it really boils down to it being that village, right? Being, showing the individuals, hey, this is how you heat your milk, your milk cup, right? Some of the parenting classes, like, no, you don't put your bottle in the microwave. Right. You don't do that. You boil the water, right? These are, and these may seem like minute or simple things, but these are simple things that, if addressed properly, right, they won't turn into bigger
crisis.
Crisis, right? When you know better, you do better, and then when you know better, you do better. When you know better, you're not reacting because you've been informed and you've been enlightened, you've been educated of how to matriculate. I appreciate you for coming here. I know this is way past the normal time.
Overdue. It's okay.
And we just really talked about, goes back to your C's: competency, the community, the children, you know, and transitioning and progressing forward. You know what I'm saying? Having a level of knowledge and understanding. And it's okay to say that I want to keep a balance here, because some of us are choosing some. I won't say all, because there are some that have become more educated and more empowered, but then there are some of us that are not taking the time to get from being under the rock to be educated and to be enlightened of these issues. You know, all of our unhoused individuals, they're not bums, they're not lazy.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not. If you look at the number of veterans, I know we're trying to wrap up, but let's just be honest. The number of veterans who are homeless, many of them choose to be, because they're suffering from PTSD, and they've not learned how to navigate that. That's an illness. They don't want to be a burden on their families. And so they'll tell you, before I put my family in harm's way, I just leave. Because they know triggers are there. Those triggers get pushed and things can happen that they don't want to happen. You get a veteran who's been to war and he has one of those flashbacks, you might find your neck snapped. I mean, I'm a vet, so I understand what our country trains us to do when we go to war. And so we have veterans who've been to war and they've had to kill people with their bare hands. Let's just keep this thing real. And so they know what their abilities are, and they're afraid of those triggers now. And so they'll leave because that you hit that, you push that magic button, and oops, and I'm gonna break it down for you deeper. I had to represent a vet who was still on active duty, who literally blew his wife's brains out with a shotgun because she pushed that button. The trigger was ignited and boom. You feel me? Did he go to jail? Yes, he went to jail. I'm sad to say. However, that was one of the facts that had to be brought out in his trial. It happens. And so those veterans who recognize that in them, they'll tell you, I'd rather leave. And they walk out and then they can't find a job. They don't find another place to live. And they're literally just wandering on the street. They're homeless. And we cannot always convince them to come home because we've not yet taught them how to deal with their mental illness. They don't know how to cope. Not only that, we've not given their families the skills to deal with those veterans. It's a two-way street. So we fail them, we fail their families, now they're homeless, and we're looking at them going, you're bum. Why you don't go home? We're making it worse. We're making it worse. We have teenagers out there who have their own demons. Let's just call them what they are. And they can't be at home. They may be runaways. They may have gotten kicked out of the home. They got no place to go. They're on the street. And we try to then, in turn, demonize them.
And especially the ones that, and I can say this, I'm an open book. I remember what that was like because technically speaking, I literally left a day before I was 17. I was 17 one day before I turned 18. And the environment was toxic.
It was unhealthy. And so you got out of there, but that doesn't mean now you're a lazy person, an awful person, a bad person. You were running to save yourself.
And people be like, man, you taking up for the youth. And I know that there may be, and what we're talking about right now is the causes and the effects. And that's the thing that we don't take the time to examine, right? One of the things that really empowered me was when I served at the camp, and then we're going to close out because my thing is winding down. was I got to be exposed to this camp where from all 50 states, there were youth from each state that was in this Camp Campbell. I remember as clear as day, in California, where we had a chance to be able to see, to learn different personalities, to be able to be exposed to different behaviors, to understand different cultures, to understand where individuals, where they come from, and what we're seeing in some of the dynamics. One of the things is that I had a chance to be able to be exposed, right? And sometimes when you, and it's okay, I never want anybody to feel bad about the lifestyle that they have, whether it be good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, right? But if we don't necessarily take the time to put ourselves to be exposed into a diverse situation, then some of the things that happens, right, in the community, right, if you're just looking on the outside and you're not, necessarily taking the time to actually understand, guess what? It empowers you, right? It empowers you to be able to be exposed to different cultures, different climates, to be able to bring that understanding and to bridge that gap, because you'd be like, well, these kids are wilding off, right? Thing I challenged my seasoned generation. They were like, man, y'all listen to y'all listening to that garbage, right? But the whole time it sounds garbage, but this is almost the same content, same music that came from the older generation, right? It's just, we just put a little dazzle to it, right? We just put a little splash to it, but it's the same.
It's creativity at its best, is what I call it. I mean, I'm gonna say this. We can wrap up on this, because I think I'm gonna drop the mic when I'm done with this. There is a Native American proverb that says, and I'm translating this in English: don't judge a man until you walk a mile in his shoes. And what we call accountability is not accountability. It's judgment. And we gotta stop judging each other. If we are going to hold each other accountable, we've got to do a series of things. First, you got to get in there and get an understanding of what you're dealing with. Number two, the person you're attempting to hold accountable, you need to make sure that they are aware of what their responsibility is. Yeah. I cannot hold you accountable for a responsibility that you don't have. And then when we start holding others accountable, look at who's taught them what that responsibility truly is. Because accountability comes in when you are responsible for something or someone and you have failed your responsibility. Now I must hold you accountable for your failure. There is no failure where there is ignorance. Hence my third C. And I'm going to let y'all marinate on that one till the next time I come back.
Yours truly, the real deal Holyfield. We told y'all we was going to be bringing it today. Hey, voices of the beautiful struggle. The good, ugly, bad, indifferent. Hey. Y'all continue to stay locked and loaded with Uncut Live Productions. Y'all remember, like I said, follow me on Instagram, Change Agent Now Forever, all lowercase, right? Make sure you continue to stay locked and loaded and plugged in with the We Take Care of Us movement on Facebook. Go log on to the group, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of information is coming at your way. Resources. We actually had last month a resource, a golden ticket for CDL training. CDL training. They were giving CDL training, free CDL training, and if you pass the course, you will automatically lined up with a job. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. it's on and popping, man. It's on and popping like popcorn, man. I'm just trying to tell y'all. Go put a smile on somebody's face. I always say this every time on every show. Go put a smile on somebody's face, right? To make a change doesn't always require money.
The devil been lying, he sound like Pinocchio. If you riding on faith, then it gon' be a rodeo. The garden of Eden can always get overgrown, but Jesus the king that can never get overthrown. I talk to the Father when I feel anxiety. I try to stay focused, I practice sobriety. I'm keeping it loud, we ain't worshiping quietly. The son of the king mean I'm part of the dynasty. Boy, I've been on my knees and my God I surrender. Everything that I have, I need you at my center. When I walk into battle, then you my defender.
We won't stop the violence.